Hi, it's Sandy Parker, and welcome to Crafting for Almost Everyone. Today we're going to make a card by watercoloring. I hope you'll stay tuned. Well, first of all, let me tell you that one of my viewers sent me this stamp, and I'm not sure who made it or where it came from because she didn't give me the packaging. It looks like from Ton Stamps, the Dahlia stamp, but I might be wrong. I'm not really sure where it came from. Anyway, with that being said, I used a piece of Arteza watercolor cardstock. It comes in a really nice set of 3 books. If you're like me and you like to make cards, I really like this 5.5 by 8.5 inch because it makes a nice 5 by 7 card. And so I stamped it with my Onyx Black ink, and then I used clear embossing powder by Ranger and heat set it. And I've already gotten some stuff on it because I did a practice one first to see how I liked it. Keep in mind I'm cutting this out, so the the edge where you're going, oh Sandy, what did a dog chew on that? Anyway, I'll be making sure that the edges really don't matter. These are the Arteza set of 60 watercolors that come in tubes. I'll be honest with you, I don't know anything really about watercolors in general, but I decanted these into this plastic container, and I talked to Lindsay the Frugal Crafter and asked her exactly what she recommended me doing, and she said put glycerin in with each, like for every one of these you add glycerin into it so that it doesn't crack and fall out. But either I didn't put enough in, I don't know. Anyway, bottom line is, I still have an issue because it's still cracking and falling out. I did put these in like a color order, rainbow color order, in 2 different boxes. So this is my box that I think I would use primarily for flowers. You can see the different colors in there, hopefully. And I'm going to use these bottom ones. I'm using saffron orange. I'm going to use orange yellow and this vermilion red right there. And maybe spiced apple right there. I don't know. And I might use a yellow. I'm not sure. But you'll see as I do it because I think these should be in the picture. I'm using brushes that I like to play with, and this is a Royal and Langnickel. It came from AC Moore, and I really like their brushes. Also, something Lindsay told me to buy was this set of brushes from AC Moore, and she hasn't steered me wrong yet. Anyway, let's talk about how I like to do this. I am more of I'll call it throw it on there and hope for the best kind of painter. I don't know anything about watercoloring other than what I like in the end. So I thought what I would do is show you how I do things, and then you can just do whatever you want to do, but I'm showing you how I do things. I like to, in the middle, I've already wet these. I think I already said that, but if I didn't, the ones I'm using, I've already wet. And they don't look wet, but trust me, they are. My brush is also wet. I'm going to do the very center of this flower with the reds. And I'm not going to do tons and tons of red, but it'll look like that in the end because I just seem to go that way. I really like red. It's my favorite color. So when I'm doing things, I always end up with a lot more red than I intend. So with that being said, just hang in there with me, and I'm going to have a red picture in a minute. Okay, that's all I think I'm going to do with red. Then I'm going to clean off my brush. Clean it a little bit more, and then I'm going to go into these orange colors. I'm going to try the spiced apple and see if I like it. And I'm overlapping that red. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I'm going into the red a little bit just so that the colors that I'm playing with are blending with each other. And I'm only going to do this color around the edges of my red. I'm not trying to do a lot in that color. I just want enough that I can blend it. And then I'm going to clean that off, and then I'm going to go into my oranges. I'm playing with, again, same thing. I'm going to overlap the color I just did. This is a big transition color. Woo, a little wild. I like it though. For those of you who watch my channel, you know that I have rheumatoid arthritis. I don't talk about it on my channel because my channel is about making crafts. It's not about me talking about my health. But the reason I brought it up this time is because the one thing I can't do, and this is important, if you are a watercolorist, most people are able to hold their brush up and down like this. My wrist, hold on, I'm going to move my bracelet so you can see. My wrists are fused like that, so I can't go up any more than that. I can't bend my wrist back. So for me to have a straight up and down brush is almost impossible. So if you're watercoloring and your problem is that you can't get your brush straight up and down, don't worry about it. I'm doing it. I don't have a problem. Well, you know, I'm not saying I'm Picasso, but what I am saying is I still find that I can do this process even though I don't have the physical abilities that other people who do watercolor have. So I just wanted to make sure I told you that. I also like to do this where I kind of just smear colors around. And then I need to add more. I'm going into, this time it's saffron orange. I'm playing with a little bit on this side. I'm cutting this out as I said, so it's not like it matters about the edges. Okay. Now, here's the thing that I like to do. Okay, at this point you're thinking to yourself, it's kind of ugly, it's kind of smeary, it's kind of weird. I know. Go with it. Get yourself a little cloth. This is how I, wait, I'm going to put this under here a little more so you can see it better. This is how I make sure that things look shaded. And here's how I do it. You just take your cloth of any kind and just go like this. You're going to go around the edges, not into the center, just the edges. Because what we're trying to do here is we're trying to make sure that our edges, yeah, you can go in the center too. You're just trying to make sure your edges are lighter, you know what I mean? And that's how I do it. Some people do it differently. I don't know how they do it, but that's how I do it. And then what I like to do after I do that is I like to go over it with a brush that's just wet. And if I have a splotchy part, like right here, it's a little bit splotchy, then I just take my brush and kind of clean that piece up so it doesn't look so odd and splotchy. And I just do that wherever there's a petal that's just has a weird look to it, like that one's a little bit odd looking. And then you just fix them that way. I had a surgery once that I had to be in a halo for 6 weeks. If you've never heard of a halo, it's a metal thing that they bolt into your head to keep your neck so it can't move. And it's not pleasant, but the thing that was really wonderful about that time was that my dad decided that he was going to retire and stay with me while I was recovering. And he loved watching those shows with Bob Ross, isn't his name Bob Ross? The artist. He loved him. He loved watching that, and he was like mesmerized by all things Bob Ross, especially the funny little things he would say. So whenever I do something like this, I just want to say something like, there. If you've ever watched Bob Ross, you know what I'm talking about. He would just do a little thing and then he would go, there. And then he would say something about, oh, let's put in a happy little bird. I just loved him. My cousin Shelley loves him too, and we always talk about that happy little bird or that happy little flower or whatever happy little thing he liked to put in. There, I think we're done for right now. Let's let her dry and see what we have and see if it needs anything more, and then we'll go on from there. So at this point, what I've done is I've taken my dried flower, it was like this, and then I cut it out so it looks like this. I'm going to put foam tape behind it. I thought about putting a layer of fun foam back there, but it just seemed like so much work to try and cut that out. So I'm going to put foam tape behind that to raise it up. And then I'm going to put it on this base, but I thought it would be important to color this so that it blends with the flower. And what I'm going to do for my colors, what I thought I would do is use either some gamboge, is that how you say it? I don't know. It's this, like, it's this color right here. I thought about using yellow ochre, but I think yellow ochre is too brown. So I think I'm going to go with this color. That is spelled Gamboge, and you know me, pronouncing things. It's not my forte. Just saying. In case you wondered. Just going to get that brush as wet as I can and as yellow as I can. And I've already put, this is 5.5 by 5.5 inches. It might be a little bit off. It might be 5 1/4 by 5.5, but I used a sentiment from a sympathy stamp set that I have that I don't have the name on it. So anyway, it's an oldie. Anyway, it says, I think it says, I don't really know what to say, and then I don't know, the other part I haven't done yet, so I don't know what I had to say. But anyway, I'm just going to make this more yellow than I thought I was going to make it. But anyway, that's my plan anyways. I don't really have to do this part. I don't know why I'm coloring the whole thing. I guess because I was thinking that if I colored the whole thing yellow, that it would all blend in with this. But that's pretty darn bright, if you ask me. I think I'm going to wet it and do a little of this to move the color around so I can get it a little less, you know, vibrant. Just wetting down the whole works. Now, if you don't have watercolor paints, I'm using watercolor paints. I'm using those Arteza ones that I use for everything else. If you don't have watercolor paints, you could use an ink pad and just ink up the whole background with your inks and then dry it. That would work. Or you could use crayons and you know, color that way. You could use whatever you want. It's just, you just want a background that you're happy with. Just going to go back over it a couple more times, and then I'm going to dry it. If I have to do some more coloring, I will. I might want to make this more orange. So if that's the case, then I'll add some orange to it. You know how it goes. It's not completely dry, but I still want to do a little bit more to it, I think. I think this is too vibrant yellow. As I said before, I thought it was going to be too vibrantly yellow. So what I want to do is add just a little bit of an orange around the edges of the flower, or I don't know. We're just going to play. Okay, here's my plan. It's not really a plan. It's an idea. We'll go with this as an idea. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking if I just kind of go out from my flower edges a little bit. And just kind of, oh, I got a chunk of that watercolor paint. Now I'm going to get a littler brush and same thing, we're going to wet it up into that orange. Not a ton of orange. And now I'm going to do, I just want to have like some, more like some little lines come out. More like a ray of sunshine or something. So at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to lay everything down. I put some tape on the back of this, so we'll be able to just take that off real fast. First things first, I made my sentiment on this piece, and I think my card is 5.5. It's a little bit over 5.5 by a little over 5 1/4, I think. And then I cut this down so that it would, let's see if I can make sure that I have this centered. No, how about like that? Close enough. Okay. There's that layer. Now my orange layer that's underneath isn't great. I'm not thrilled with that, but what are you going to do? Okay, then this is the dahlia. Now, I did not put, you can see where I put my foam tape. I put it everywhere down in this section. And in this section, I'm going to glue it down, hopefully, keep this in mind, hopefully, with a wet glue. So what I'm going to do is make it so that in the end, the top of our dahlia is not as dimensional. It's going to be, the bottom is going to be the dimension, the top is not going to be dimensional. Did that make sense? I hope it did. And I'm going to put a little bit of wet glue on the edges where I don't have, you know, things being the foam tape. This foam tape is a very thin foam tape. I don't remember where I bought it. I thought it was on eBay, but I couldn't find it after I said I bought it there, so, you know, these are the things that happened to me. And what my plan is, I'm going to push on the bottom. I want the dimension down here, right? Then up here, as I get higher on the flower, I want my dimension to go away. Stuff on me. So I'm going to push down and hold down those petals. Put a little bit more orange on that and get rid of that boo-boo. At the very least, I should be able to wet it and move that stuff around, right? Okay, I'm going to just wipe it off. You're wondering how to fix a mistake? Stick with me. I'll show you how to fix mistakes. Because if I don't make a mistake on a project, I'm not really working at it, am I? Can get a little bit of orange on my brush. See if I can swipe it back in there to fix that little problem. I'm going to use my thinner point brush to get those spots. That is the beauty of watercolor, I gotta say. That when you make a big boo-boo like that, you can sometimes fix it. I did say sometimes, you heard that, right? Okay, we're gonna let that dry. I want to show you what's on the inside. Hopefully, I want to show you some of these spots are glued down. I wanted to also show you that on the inside, I did put another sentiment in there. So there's a sentiment that says, sending you a paper hug. It says, I don't really know what to say, sending you a paper hug. This is for some friends, as I said, who've lost their brother, and I kind of like this one. So here are the two cards I made. Both of them have I use the same technique with the colors, and I don't know if you can see the background on this one. You can kind of see the sun rays better on this one than you can on the other one, because on this one I decided I would flick some of the homemade Wink of Stella on the background so that there's like a, hopefully you can see that glistening in the background. And the flower glistens too. This flower also has my homemade Wink of Stella on it. And again, that's just a bottle of, hold on, I'll see if I can dig it out for you, because you know I like when I can show you stuff so you know what to look for when you go to a store or when you're online. It's made by Liquitex, and it's called the Irridescent Medium, and you buy it in, I bought it at AC Moore, which is one of the big box stores that sell crafts, but any art supply store will sell it. Get it somewhere where you can get a coupon, because I think it was like, I don't know, $14 maybe without the 50% off coupon. So I hope you enjoyed this, that you'll give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and please tell your friends about me on social media, because you know I love that. And thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.